Lee, we got to change that fucking music.
Yeah, we do.
Have you talked to you know who?
It's on its way, man. It'll be changed soon.
Okay, good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Brian Miller.
And you're amateur or pro fighter?
Amateur fighter.
Amateur?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we got Lee.
What up? What up?
Leland.
Good to have you on the show, Brian.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, real quick, what made you want to become a fighter?
I've always loved the art of it. Like, when I was a kid, man, I'd watch movies and TV shows, and just the way that I wouldn't even care about the acting or what they were talking about. I was more interested on how they were fighting and how they did the choreography. And, of course, as a kid, I didn't realize that there was a lot of choreography that went into it.
Right.
But when it was on screen and they were doing cool stuff like jumping spin kicks and stuff like that, it drew me in, and I just fell in love with it.
Do you like the kung fu shit?
Yeah.
Like Brian.
What was what was some of your favorite movies?
Of course, Bruce Lee movies, Enter the Dragon, The Tower, Fist of Fury, stuff like that. But I also loved Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, The Kickboxer, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
My next fight, I want to come out to the Song of Bloodsport.
Do you?
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that on my next one.
So how long have you been an amateur fighter?
Probably about six and a half years.
Okay.
I took my first fight, I think I was like 37, 38. And that was back in like 2017, I would want to say.
Okay.
And I just came into the gym, and Eric Wallin, our coach, I've been with him for like 7.5 years. And I told him, I'm older. I've always wanted to fight. I've told my family that, hey, I'm going to be a fighter. I'm going to fight in the cage, stuff like that. I'm from California, so I did kind of a lot of talking when I was younger. And when I moved here to Utah, I just kind of started taking it more seriously.
Good.
And then I just came into the gym, and Eric's like, hey, you need to take this fight. It's like a 5-week notice. I don't care. Just take it, double jab, takedown. That's it. And use your jiu-jitsu, and you'll win. And I ended up armbarring the guy in the first round.
Nice. So is that more of your strength as the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
So we went to Zeke and Kent's fight.
Yeah.
And watching Zeke with that arm bar, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how the fuck
Zeke
is your
was
arm?
winning too, man.
I know. It was crazy.
I was so mad when he lost.
But I'm like, how the fuck is your arm still in place, dude? Because he was like,
it was all straight. Yeah, it was a straight arm bar, and dude did good. He did a good job transitioning into a lot of different positions and stuff. And eventually, I feel like just kind of the way Zeke's arm was underneath him, was setting him up for that Kimura and that straight arm bar.
Right.
So yeah.
That guy he fought. What was his name?
Ruben, I believe.
That dude was a character, man.
He was. Yeah.
He was pretty entertaining.
That's the best part about UFC, or just, MMA in general, is you never know what you're going to get. This guy's like, doing the Indian dance, walking in. I'm like, man, he's going to knock this motherfucker out.
Yeah.
And then he wins, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a trip. And I had talked to Zeke about this after the fight, and he agrees with me. And I feel like in the beginning of the fight, like, the dude kept trying to crack little jokes and try to kind of like basically almost like befriend Zeke in a way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And Zeke wasn't having it. He was like, no. And then Ruben did something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he did something, and Zeke finally acknowledged it, and they kind of fist bumped. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like that kind of not got into Zeke's head, but almost like drawed his
drop that
aggression.
Drop that warrior mentality.
Yeah,
now we're sparring, we're not fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
how close are you to becoming professional, or is that even a thing you want to do?
So I'm looking to take some Muay Thai fights this year.
Okay.
And I feel like if I do pretty good, I want to go pro next year.
Okay.
In Muay Thai.
Do you have like sponsors already talking to you about?
No? I sponsor myself. I pay for everything.
I like that.
And I'm not out there trying to like pander to anybody for
Right.
sponsorship either. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just do it myself.
Well, I know like with Kent and Zeke, they kind of grew up in a rough, environment.
Yeah.
And, it's awesome to see how they've come out of that.
Yeah.
You growing up in California, kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So I grew up with my mom, and she was into drugs pretty bad, and my aunt came and took me and my older brother one day on a weekend, drove us over to her grandparents' house and said, "All right, this is where you guys are going to be living now." And and I was mama's boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, her nickname for me was Pooter.
Pooter.
Pooter, just because I would hang under in the inside of her leg, when I was a kid. And so she just started calling me Pooter, and basically when they did that, I was lost. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was definitely different for me. My grandparents did a good job raising me. Obviously, all parents kind of make mistakes with their
Right.
kids and their grandkids if they're raising them and stuff like
Right.
that. So yeah, that's kind of how it started for me. And we're with them. Excuse me. I think 10 years. I was 17 and started being a bad kid. Ditching school, sneaking out at night, going to see my girlfriend. You know what I mean? I'd be out all night. Wouldn't climb back through the window until it was like 5, 6 in the morning.
Yep.
And then I'd have to get up and go to school the next day, and I'd be sleeping in class, and my grades weren't very good. I ended up dropping out as a senior.
Okay.
So yeah, and the rough. So my older son's mom, she got pregnant, and she told me, but come to find out, she was cheating on me, and it ended up being a kid that wasn't mine, but he ended up getting my name, and then we had a kid together. So it was.
That's still your son, though, right?
Well, I mean, the way that everything kind of went down. I tried to be responsible, but I was still young myself and stupid, and I didn't get what was going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be the best I could, but I'd get to a point sometimes where like I was doing good, and then I'd like fail, and then I'd almost give up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I'd tell myself, "Don't do that," and I'd step back up, and then I'd give up. And then I also, they got taken away from the mom, and I should have stepped up. And this is where I know I kind of screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I should have stepped up for that young boy that wasn't mine, and I kind of had that ghetto mentality, like I ain't paying a child support for no kid that's not mine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I smoked weed. And basically, my uncle was taking care of my son. So when she got the two taken away, my son went to my uncle.
Okay.
And I told my uncle, like, hey, I'm having a problem with marijuana. Like, I can't quit. I need help. You know what I mean? Like, can you please help me? And to come to find out, he went behind my back and drew papers to adopt my son.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And him and his girlfriend at the time ended up adopting my son. And I can't say that it was a really bad thing, because like I said, I wasn't always doing the right things. You know what I mean? I wasn't always the smartest guy. I had to learn a lot as an adult.
Learn the harder way too.
Yeah. So I can't say it was like a really bad thing, but how everything went down, it was a bad thing, because it made a rift in our family, and they'd like keep things from me and my older brother,
Right.
and kind of that side of the family. And finally, one day on Thanksgiving, they were trying to hide something from us, and my uncle, one of my other uncles, was just like, "Come on, guys, like, tell him the truth. Like, you guys are gonna do a birthday party for this kid. It's his dad. Like, what are you guys doing?"
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was my Uncle Richard, and I love him. Like, he was a correctional officer in Placer County, and like he was a really good dude, and he was stand-up guy. He married my aunt. She had 2 kids from another man, and he raised my 2 cousins as his own. You know what I mean? And Richard is an amazing man, you know. So he kind of was just like, come on, guys, you got to stop that. Like, we need to start telling this guy the truth. And if you want him to step up, you need to stop kind of treating him like a kid.
Right.
You know? And if you keep doing that, then he's never going to kind of grow up and do the right things.
Right.
You know? So
what were they hiding?
Just a birthday party. Basically, they didn't want to invite me. They didn't want to invite me and my older brother and his wife. And
See, that's fucked up.
yeah, it is. So that's why I said that there are certain circumstances that were fucked up. But in a way, I mean, I was in the drugs. I was doing the wrong things.
Right.
You know, so if they could have helped me, that's where I would have liked it. You know?
You have a very similar story that I do as well. So my mom also was into heroin big time.
Okay.
And my aunt happened to drive by where we were living. And at the time, it was just in some trailer park, I want to say out in Magna.
Okay.
And here's me and my brother running around dirty diapers, haven't showered in days.
Yep.
And so she ended up calling my dad, and my dad's like, fuck that. So he came and got us and then dropped us off at my grandparents and then went back to work. But we'd been with him ever since.
Yeah.
And just looking back, it's a blessing that kind of shit happens. But at the same time, it's like, you know, when you're in it, you know, for me, I was a mama's boy as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom eventually passed away back in 2014.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize all the childhood trauma that I went through until she fucking died.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, you know, like in 2014, I went through a divorce, my mom dying, my grandma dying. And I just got to the point where I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. I don't care what anyone's opinion is.
Yeah.
Still live that to this day, just a little bit more open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I went from being like the model son, model citizen, all the way to, you know, partying at bars, experimenting with drugs, tattoos, like the whole 9.
Yeah.
And I don't regret any of it. It's made me who I am today. But, you know, I could have went a whole different path.
Yeah.
My brother, who just can't get right, is gone down the path that I could have went down.
Yeah.
And, you know, he struggles every fucking day with his shit.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how that one little thing, you know, gets taken out of your life, and then later on you're like, holy shit, that really did fuck me up.
Yeah. Yep. And I had to realize that too. I had to be open-minded. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I am now, is like, I got to a point in life where I was like, screw this. I'm not going to listen to nobody. I'm an adult. You can't tell me what to do.
Right.
And now I'm still kind of that way, but I'm more open-minded. I'm more willing to learn more things, new things and stuff like that. And so my older son, he came and moved out here when he was 17 and stayed with us for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And me and him got to connect, but man, like in the beginning, it was kind of rough because we didn't know each other. And I'm over here kind of trying to be a dad, and he's over here like,
you ain't my dad.
You ain't my dad,
yeah.
fool. You know, he doesn't even really call me dad. He calls me Pops.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which I'm cool with. Pops is cool. But, yeah, he's all, I don't feel comfortable saying dad. And I was like, you know what? I get it, dude. I'm not comfortable saying dad either. I got a stepdad that, man, he was married to my mom for almost 20 years before I even said dad to him.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like, and it was because of my wife, really. My wife was just like, she started calling him dad. And she wasn't even around but a couple months. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So she cling on real quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, I clinged to her pretty quick. Like, the second day I met her, I told her we were getting married.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, straight up, dude. Like, so we went on a date, and everything was clicking. Like, we're just clicking. And I had this CD. And not a lot of people know this band. It's called Future Leaders of the World. And I was like, all right, if you know this band, I'm telling you, we're getting married. And I popped it in. She started singing the songs. And I looked at her, and I'm like, we're getting married, right?
That's a cool feeling though. Like
Yeah.
when you connect with the opposite sex that way.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had that feeling in fucking forever, but it's cool though when it happens because you feel like you almost feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. And I've been with my wife for 15 years now.
Nice.
We've been married for almost 14 years.
So she's like your rock, keeps you balanced.
Yep.
So when did you feel like at what point was your breaking point where you're like, okay, I'm done with the drugs, I'm done with this shit. I got to go on the straight and narrow.
So again, my wife, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing crystal meth, popping pills, doing ecstasy every weekend. I'd go and work all week, you know, all week. I'd just smoke pot. I wouldn't do any other drugs. All week I'd work. And then on the weekends I'd do some ecstasy, and then it molded into some crystal meth, and then it ended up into some pills. So I did that for a few years, and I met my wife, and then I think it went on for probably another 4 months or so.
Were you hiding it or
I was hiding the crystal,
not the weed?
but the weed, no, I'm full open pothead, and I tell most people about that
Like to this day.
to this day.
See, for me personally, I've never been a pot guy. I have some funny fucking stories. Like if you listen to the one we just released,
Yeah.
I actually go into one of the stories I had where I'm eating edibles. Like weed's not my thing by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't hate on it either because I've seen it do wonders for people.
Yeah. Keeps me calm. And my mind really kind of wanders when I'm not smoking a lot. So like my mind will think a lot, and then like when I smoke, it kind of relaxes me. And then also, I own a tree service, so I climb trees. Pretty much, well, not now because it's winter, but I'll climb trees all day and then go and train, and then it helps me relax. It soothes the certain aches and pains and stuff like that.
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That you found something that can do that. Mine, like I've never been like because my mom died. She didn't die because of heroin. She actually got caught up in the OxyContin deal.
Oh, okay.
But she was pretty much, crushing it, shooting it, the whole nine. So I always told myself, no, hell no, never.
Yeah.
And then the meth thing, I'm like, nope, because I watch what it does to my brother. But the one that I love, because my mind is always racing. Yeah. So like as you and I are talking, I have 5 or 6 questions loaded, ready to go based off what you're telling me. But that's how my mind goes. So for me, when I'm on Adderall, like I get some serious shit done. Yeah. But my problem is I like to take probably a lot more than what I should. And then like I can sleep on it, like I'm good. It's when I come off of it, holy fuck, dude. Like I'm like 4 or 5 days, can't wait to get home and go to sleep because it just, your body starts doing that withdrawal deal. And now I'm finally realizing like, no, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. I feel better when I'm not on it.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's so I would do Vicodin, Percocet. I even got to a point where I'd take like a quarter of the OBs that is almost like the Oxycontins. Okay. So I kind of got to that point where I was doing that, and then I was just like, bro, you got to stop doing this. And then basically me and my wife just had a conversation. She was drinking and kind of doing pills as well. And I just came out to her, like we got in an argument, and I was just like, this is why I've been doing drugs and this and that, and I want to quit, and I need your help, and like, can we help each other? And she was like, yeah, let's do this, because she wanted to quit drinking as well. And so we made an agreement with each other, and we've been faithful to it, that.
That's cool. So. I mean, I'd probably tell you the one thing that I had issues with was the drinking. Yeah. Like I work for a moving company, and at the time I was watching people above me just leave or get fired. Yeah. And then the whole operation was left to me. And so, like I'd get in at 6, leave at 7, go hit the bar, log in on a laptop, eat dinner, start drinking. Next thing I know, I'm fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. And it was Monday through Friday.
Well, that's So also what led up to me wanting to quit is because I had a pool table service out in California, and I worked for an apartment complex cleaning the apartments.
Okay.
And I'd find myself going into those apartments, locking the doors up and just going to sleep on the floor.
Not getting anything.
Not getting nothing done. And I ended up getting fired from that job. And then like the economy went bad, so my pool table company started going downhill.
So this was in 08?
Yeah.
When the economy crashed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was like 08.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like all that stuff started happening. No, actually, it was like 29. Because I think me and my wife were together for like 6 months when all this started happening.
Okay.
So yeah, we're still having the effect from 2008
Okay.
to 2009, and
Right.
then it just started going down because pool tables is it's luxury. It's not something that's required. And then I got into doing trees. But yeah, I lost the job, and then my the economy was going down, and I was just like, dude, I got to stop doing these drugs because it's just like I lost this job, my company's gonna go, and basically I'm just starting to fail.
Right.
And I always tell my nephew, sometimes you get to a crossroad where you need to make a decision. You know what I mean? You're either going to make the decision where you're just going to keep doing it and keep being a piece of shit and just go down the wrong road, or you're going to say, I need to stop doing this and go the other way and start becoming a good person,
Right.
and doing the right things. And that's the path I started to choose, is to go this way, so that I can start being a better man and be a better person.
You would
know
think,
what
I mean, if you would think, as a person, if you kept going down this one path and you kept fucking up,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're like, okay, maybe let's go do this differently.
Yeah.
And then that light bulb moment goes off and you're like, oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Let's just keep doing this. This is so much more.
Yeah,
this is
this
better. This is fun. Like,
This keeps a roof over my head,
Exactly.
food in my stomach,
Right, right.
I get to go on trips.
Keeps your wife with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when you were doing all this in 09 was in California?
Yeah.
What part of California were you in?
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are me and the wife? I think we're living in the Fair Oaks, Orangevale area, but yeah, it's the whole Sacramento kind of.
So my ex-wife, her twin sister, lived in Paradise, which my understanding is now no longer there because of the fires.
Sir. Nope.
So
Yeah.
I to this day, because I don't talk to my ex-wife, I really wonder what happened to her sister. I hope she got out okay.
Yeah, dude. I watched I think it was the documentary, basically a show about the Paradise Fire. Bro, like a lot of them had to go in the middle of the town, and there was just this outdoor basketball court that they all had to gather up in
As the fire's burning.
around them, dude. And they're all crunched down, and they have to stay together to be able to get through this. And the smoke's going over them, all this different stuff. And I'm just there watching the show like, oh my God, dude. Like, can you imagine having to go through that? Like, that'd be horrible, dude.
It'd fuck you up for
Yeah.
life. So what started that fire?
I don't know. A lot of people were saying that that it was a forest fire, and then I was hearing that basically maybe like a laser or
like it was started. Are you talking like conspiracy shit?
Conspiracy shit. I kind of listen to it a little bit. I don't know if I believe it. It's just it's fun to listen to.
I would tell you this in the past. And this is just me actually paying attention to it. In the past 6 or 7 years, it is very odd how California has all these fires.
Yeah.
I heard like the Antifa deal up in Oregon, like they would go and start fires to, whatever they fucking stand for.
Yeah.
But and it always happened in that green triangle.
Yeah.
And it just to me is the oddest thing. It's like, how do these fires keep starting in the same general fucking area year after year after year after year?
Yeah. And then they want to say it's because of the forest. It's all dry and all the trees are dying. And it's like, well, sounds like you guys aren't managing it right.
Right.
So
I don't know. Like we love conspiracies. We were actually talking before you came. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan.
Okay, yeah.
And I was listening to him and Cat Williams. and because Cat called Joe out during one of his deals, and then he's like,
yes,
with the Shannon Sharp deal.
Yes, I just watched that.
That was awesome.
2 days ago.
Right?
Yeah, I liked it.
So then, I'm driving to work yesterday, and I'm like, oh, let's see what else is new on Joe Rogan. And then I see Cat Williams, and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be good. And I'm expecting the same Cat Williams to come out and do what he did. Nothing like it.
Yeah.
They just went and talked conspiracies the entire time.
Okay.
And the way that, like, Cat explains everything, you're like, oh, fuck, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like, I was telling Ali, they're both high as a kite. And
definitely.
And they're smoking throughout, but I'm telling you, when they hit record, they've already like pre-smoked. They're already fucked up.
Yeah.
And then I was telling Lee, I was like, this reminds me of like, you remember the game Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
So you got Joe versus Cat, and Cat's like flawless victory. Like everything Joe throws at him, he's like, no, look at it from this point of view.
Yeah.
And he explains it, and you hear Joe go, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love when he does, oh, yeah.
Right. So then I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is fucking cool. I'm sober as a bird.
Yeah.
But totally fucking understand everything he's talking about. But anyway.
I'm going to have to watch that because I was actually thinking about going and watching it when I heard that, him saying something to Joe about Joe Rogan. And then I also heard that Cat did go on Joe Rogan's podcast. So I'm going to have to sit down and watch that one now.
I would love to see them have a sober talk.
Yeah.
That's why I think you'll get Cat and him talking shit about everyone else.
Yeah.
But when they're high as fuck, it's straight conspiracy, and it's like phenomenal. It's so gold.
Well, what I think also kind of like helped Cat with all that on Shannon Sharp, they're sitting there drinking that cognac.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yep. So they were just after sip after sip after sip.
That'll make any motherfucker mean.
I'm telling you, dude. And they said it was one of the good stuff. You know what I mean? So that means that shit was strong.
And it goes down smooth, so you just keep drinking it.
Keep drinking it, yep.
Yeah. So the fighting thing, where do you see this going? Like, obviously you're going to try to go pro. Do you have the UFC aspirations or the main event stuff?
Honestly, I mean, every fighter has that dream.
Right.
But I'm 44. I'm going to be 45 in June. I'm starting late. I don't know if I'd really make it to the UFC just because of my age. You know what I mean? So, but in Muay Thai, you know what I mean? I can maybe go somewhere in that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, as long as I keep training and working hard and working on my combos and just, stay in love with it.
Was you always fighting, like, growing up?
Yes.
You were always a fighter?
I was always fighting.
Like the bully, or were you...
No.
Lee, talking to the mic.
Standing up for yourself?
Standing up for myself. Well, also, my brother technically was the badass of the school. He was 16 years old, knocking out 22-year-old men.
Damn.
He was like 6'1.5", 175 pounds, and he would make me fight him at home, wrestle, box, football, basketball, just everything.
He was already fighting like the baddest dude.
Yes. And then, like, a lot of his friends were like, "Oh, you're Jeremy Miller's brother. That's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool to go home and get beat up all the time."
Yeah, no
it's awesome, dude.
Like, I look at him wrong and he fucks me up.
Yeah. Well, he's always been a foot taller and 100 pounds bigger than me. I was small when I was younger. Like, I was 140 pounds as a senior in high school. I didn't reach 165 pounds until I was almost 20 years old.
Damn.
So yeah, I was a skinny kid.
My brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and he was always the bully.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd get in fights, and he'd have kids on the ground, bloody, crying, and then he'd stop. Are you done? And they would, for whatever dumb fucking reason, start talking shit and back at it.
Yeah.
And then he'd stop. Are you done? And then finally they're like, no more. But I really wish my brother would have got into it, because my brother, so I'm 5'9", way over fucking weight right now. He's like 6 foot, like shredded.
Yeah.
Like he got all the good genes, and like, so when he's in prison, like they used to nickname him Man Dime.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to hear the rest of that shit. He's like, no, I ain't letting anyone touch me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I always joke around like he's like the Man Dime, and then like I'm like the Down syndrome older brother,
Yeah.
So,
well, that's it. Basically, it almost sounds like the same thing in a way growing up, but it almost flip flop.
Yeah.
Because my older brother, he actually is got some extra weight on him and stuff. And
I bet he's a softie now, huh?
Dude, he's got 3 daughters and his wife.
Man.
He's got all kinds of estrogen around him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, he'd probably still hurt somebody.
Oh, for sure.
But he is a bigger dude, and he's just a big teddy bear now.
Yeah.
He's just a big old teddy bear.
And now you got that mean streak. You're like, thanks, brother.
I don't know if I have like the mean streak, but I do have the mouth where if somebody says something, I'm not gonna allow it to go.
Right.
You know, and then also my whole family, basically with diabetes, high blood pressure, kind of overweight. You know, my mom was kind of a bigger woman. My grandma was a bigger woman at one point in time, and then she got diabetes and lost a bunch of weight. And then my uncle right now, he's got diabetes and he's kind of having problems with that right now. My aunts, they were all kind of like
thing.
thicker people. And I know, so that's in my genes. So I know that if I don't pay attention to what I'm eating, what I'm doing, exercise and all that different stuff, then I'm going to get diabetes. Right. I'm going to get high blood pressure. I'm going to get all that stuff. And I'm just like, when we first moved here, I was sitting on the couch. I was getting close to 200 pounds. And I was just like, all right, Brian, you told yourself, if you get about like 190 to 200, you need to get back in the gym. And this is what's going on. And finally I was like, all right, you need to go do jiu-jitsu.
I'll tell you what, I got this fucking shoulder pain. I would give my right arm right now to fucking be 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love that shit. I'd be like, woof, I'd be back at it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, though. Like, the discipline that you have, a lot of people don't have.
Yes.
You know, like the guy that we had on the last show, you know, he gets up early in the morning, goes to the gym, and his family is, like, super competitive, and I used to do that same thing. You know, I did steroids there for a while. Gym's just not my thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And I could be better about being more active. Like, me and Lee golf a lot. Try to do it with no alcohol.
It's kind of hard.
different experience, but it can be done for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I try to be more active. So, like, when I like interview you guys, like, hats off to you. Like, I have much respect for the shit that you guys do.
Appreciate it.
Because I can't do it. Like, we had Zach on, and Zach's like, he's like, I'm gonna challenge you. Go to the gym with Zeke. Go do some kickboxing. He's like, I guarantee you'll be hooked after that. And I'm like, oh, all right. I haven't done it yet, but that's one thing that would be cool to do, is just go in there and see it.
Come in, man. We'd love to have you at Fight City. You can come in, do a trial class, and see how it is.
Where are you guys located at?
We're South Salt Lake, so off of Southwest Temple.
Okay.
Kind of almost right there where the 80.
Okay, so you're okay.
Yeah,
I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, we're right next to the underpass.
That's where I grew up, South Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Yep, that's his.
Shout out to South Salt Lake.
That's his stomping grounds right there. I'm more West Jordan, but that's cool. So when's your next fight?
I'm looking July. So I got my Muay Thai coach. He's already put my name in for somebody out in the Layton area for July. So that's what I'm looking at.
So how different is like an actual Muay Thai fight compared to like an MMA fight?
So I've never actually done a Muay Thai fight.
Okay.
So it's going to be my first one, but I feel like, so we're from sparring Muay Thai and sparring MMA. It is different because MMA I feel is a little more exhausting.
Okay.
Because you're constantly push-pull, trying to defend a takedown, trying to do a takedown, and then right after trying to do a takedown, then you go right into striking, and it's like comboing that stuff together is exhausting. I mean, you heard Zeke. You know what I mean? He gets real tired, because it's really exhausting to kind of like be hanging on somebody, try to push them away as they're pulling on you. You know what I mean? So you have to almost do this thing, and you're just constantly just flexing your muscles to like not get taken down, or try to get a takedown, or just be striking and then go for something else. So yeah, MMA I feel is a little more exhausting.
So is Muay Thai like, is it more ground game, or
no?
is
It's just stand up. It's
stand
like
up?
It's kickboxing.
Okay.
But it's more you can do more clinches, and then I believe there's elbows. Yeah, you can use elbows. So in kickboxing, I believe you can't use elbows.
Yeah, I think it's just fists and legs.
And legs. But in Muay Thai, like you get the clinch, and they won't break you up on that clinch, and you can drop knees to the abdomen, the legs, all kinds of different stuff. And in a way, that's kind of my specialty in Muay Thai is clinching. Just because of jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 7.5 years. I'm a third-degree purple belt. So there's a lot of stuff in jiu-jitsu. How do you do underhooks and overhooks and clinching the head?
Right.
And I can really acclimate that into Muay Thai.
Okay. That makes sense. One thing I've always wondered, whether it's watching, Zeke and Kent fight or, watching like pay-per-view type stuff, why is it that heavyweights don't invest more in Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu?
I think it's just because they're bigger dudes.
But you'd think though you'd want to be like well-rounded.
Yes.
That's how
the higher level heavyweights are a little better in jiu-jitsu. Like Kent's last opponent that was in the UFC, like I believe he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and then also Zeke's last opponent was more into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think he said he was a blue belt or something.
Yeah, something like that. So me and my nephew actually talk about this too, and I do tell him, if you're doing MMA, dude, you got to do a lot of jiu-jitsu because there's a point in time where there's going to be takedowns happening, and there's going to be transitions, and there's going to be all this different stuff. And if you don't know just the littlest stuff, as of like if
the way someone grabs you, how to get out of it.
Yeah, if the guy's on the ground and I got his ankle and I'm pushing down here and I want to pass this way, I'm not going to just keep trying to pass. I'm going to take my left hand and actually put it on his knee and push more so that I can get more down on him and be able to transition better.
A lot of leverage.
Yeah, well, I'm blocking him.
Right.
Because when my hand's on his ankle pushing down and then my hand's here on his knee, I'm blocking him from being able to pull that leg back in front of me to where he can stop me from transitioning to the left.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you guys get into any of like the judo or karate or?
Judo, yes. So one of our coaches at Fight City, Mitch, love you, Mitch. He's a black belt in 4 different martial arts.
That's
dude.
Fucking nuts.
Like Mitch has got a lot of knowledge, and I believe he's a brown belt in judo as well. So he's a black belt, karate, taekwondo, traditional jiu-jitsu, and then Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
What's the difference between the two?
So traditional jiu-jitsu basically comes from Japan.
Okay.
And then the Brazilian jiu-jitsu obviously is from Brazil, but Gracie. Because a long time they were calling it Gracie jiu-jitsu, and then they basically started formatting it.
The fighter Gracie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they started formatting it because I don't know if I'm going to get this right, so I'm just going to say either they went to Japan or Japanese traditional jiu-jitsu guy went to Brazil.
Okay.
I believe the Gracies went to Japan. I want to say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they went there and they learned the traditional jiu-jitsu, and when they went back to Brazil, Hilo Gracie was smaller than everybody else. So he had to modify it for his body style.
Okay.
And that's where the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu came from.
Okay.
And then it was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. And then when they wanted to mainstream it, they started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. So basically that's where it started being Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So Gracie turned into Brazilian.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. That's interesting. I did not know that.
I'm not a big reader. So I listened to the Hickson Gracie book, Breathe, and there's just a lot of good stuff in that book. What he talks about as of their meal plans and their workout schedules, and how even if you're a part of the Gracie family, even if you're not fighting or competing in jiu-jitsu, they still want you to eat on
like you're training.
Yeah, eat like you're training, and actually train jiu-jitsu as well, because it's a
lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, and they're able to protect themselves out on the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because basically they don't just teach the ground stuff. They also teach how to get into the ground stuff from standing up. So there is some striking involved in kind of traditional jiu-jitsu. And then there's obviously it all kind of derived from judo as well.
Right.
Because if you look at judo, they'll do throws into submissions.
Right. Because I know judo, you're using your opponent's like body weight against them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the little bit of judo I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't get up and show you any of that
Yeah.
shit at all.
Well, that's a Mitch. So Mitch, he has a 615 class at Fight City, and he does that's the jiu-jitsu class, but he teaches us the throws.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The holds and where to. And man, he says all these Japanese names for him, and I can't ever remember none of them. And I'm over here trying to say them, and my tongue just does not do it.
He's like, come here, let me show you the Tokyo.
Yeah, dude. Mitch is really good.
That's cool though that you have awesome teachers. Do they ever get you guys into like Krav Maga?
No, not really. Yeah.
So there's another podcaster I listen to. His name's Sam Tripoli.
Okay.
He's also a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And he was suffering from this, and this is a real deal, but he was suffering from this thing called heavy legs.
Okay.
Where he literally felt like his legs were like cement. Had something going on with an artery where they had to go out and clear it out, and he got better. But the doctor was like, go do Krav Maga because you're always constantly moving around.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But then, you ask someone about like Krav Maga and they're like, what is it? And then you tell them to watch that fucking movie with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Where he's just busting back and forth. They're like, that's what that is? I'm like, yeah, that's what that is. But it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Or like people know it from, what's that video game? Another fighting video game where that dude does it. God damn it.
Tekken, right?
Tekken. There you go.
Okay, yeah. Tekken. Dude, I used to play a lot of Tekken.
Yeah, so you got that dude just fucking swaying back and forth, and he starts whipping your ass. You're like, what the fuck?
Actually, is it capoeira? You mean?
Yeah, that's what it is. Capoeira, yeah.
Yeah, capoeira. It almost looks like they're breakdancing
It's like
in a way.
Dance. Kind of.
Yeah.
I thought that was Krav Maga.
No, that's capoeira.
Oh, then I'm fucking retarded.
Yeah.
See,
capoeira.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a movie when I was younger that was a capoeira movie that made me like, oh, this shit's tight. So I kind of started doing it a little bit at home.
Now I need to figure out what the fuck Krav Maga is.
So Krav Maga is
it Krav Maga or is it Krav Maga?
Krav Maga, I believe.
Okay.
Krav with a V, right?
Krav Maga.
Yeah.
They're like, they try to eliminate their opponent as fast as possible.
Yes.
They train eye gouges,
Yes.
punches.
Oh fuck, I know.
Oh, dude, can't
do that.
They'll try to kick the knee back and shatter your knee.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, it's like it's an art where it's like you subdue your opponent quickly. Kind of
There's like no rules.
No rules, dude. They learn how to use the kind of the sticks too.
Oh, okay.
The kind of like the 2.5, 3 foot sticks,
Yeah.
and yeah. So that's Krav Maga.
I think the bouncers at bars should learn that shit.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
like Roadhouse type shit.
Roadhouse, yeah. Well, that's what. So bouncers, the way that they hire bouncers is they want the biggest, scariest looking dudes that they can get.
Right.
You know, if they look at me, a guy my size, and I want to go bounce, they're really gonna kind of look at me and be like, "Bro, like, come on now,
like,
bro.
You're
You're kind of small to be dealing with all these big dudes. You know, even though I am a 3rd degree purple belt and I do have a martial arts background, kind of like in Roadhouse. I thought he was gonna be bigger. You know what I mean? Exactly. So,
oh, that's awesome. Have you ever tried doing like the bartending thing?
No.
Or not bartending, but the bouncer?
No.
I don't.
Because I knew guys that did bounce, and that's what they'd always tell me. It was like, bro, you're too small. They wouldn't hire you.
So they asked. I had a bar that I used to go to all the time. They asked me to do it for one show.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. They're like, well, you're a bigger guy. Like, they'll be intimidated. I'm like, okay. So I put the shirt on, security, and I'm standing there. Next thing you know, I'm like just talking to girls. Just,
Yeah.
There's a fight over there. They're like, are you going to go? And I'm like, oh, shit.
No.
Start running over there. Yeah. And then I quickly learned like, that ain't my thing. My thing is like, doing this. I'm,
Yeah.
but So what's next? Like, what's the training regimen for you like? Since, cause I know you have like your day job. So like, do you get done? You want to grab them? Hold on, this place has lately been kind of a shit show. We have a church next door.
Oh, okay.
And we tell them all the time, like, hey, Sundays is Saturdays is our day to record.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple Saturdays where they showed up and like they're full on Christian band. They got the whole thing going. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
So we had to put an end to that real quick. So here we are, the first Saturday in a while that they're not here. We got the fucking cleaners doing their deal. So
That's funny.
anyway, ignore that.
No problem.
Anyway, so what's your daily routine?
So right now it's kind of winter, so I haven't really been working a lot, and I kind of went in the hibernation stage.
Okay.
So I kind of gathered a little bit of weight that I didn't want, and I actually have a jiu-jitsu tournament coming up in April.
Go ahead. You're good.
So so I have Nagas coming in April 6th, and I signed up for 3 brackets. So I'm about to get back into training real hard, but I'm just kind of getting over a sickness.
Okay.
Just cough and stuffy nose, stuff
Right.
like that. And I've been dealing with little nagging injuries. So almost in a way, getting sick was kind of a godsend to kind of sit me at home and not be too active.
Right.
Because when I'm in it, I'm in it. You know what I mean? I'll be at work at the job site by 8:30, 9 o'clock, climb me some trees for about 5-6 hours, and then go home, take a shower, and then I hit the gym for about 3-4 hours. You know what I mean? When I'm getting ready for a tournament or a fight. I'm always trying to be there. I haven't really been. I've been there because I teach. I teach 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu, and then I'll cover classes at night. Right now, I'm covering Mitch's jiu-jitsu class at 6:15. But I basically Fight City's my second home, so I'm always there. I'm kind of a staple around there. You know what I mean? On. But yeah, so I'll go to work. Climb trees, and then I'll go to the gym and put in anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending kind of how I feel, or if I'm not feeling like I need to do it, I'll still push myself to do it.
That's good.
But my nephew lately, he's been talking a lot of crap to me because I haven't really been going.
And he goes,
and he'll go for a few hours, and he'll be like, I'm going for 4 hours. I'm like, well, have fun, dude. Like, I'm not gonna go sit around for 4 hours.
Right.
Like, have fun. I'll see you later.
So is he trying? How old are you? 22. You gonna try to do the professional thing?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm still an amateur. I'm undefeated, so I'm just taking my time learning the skills and all that.
Nice.
Oh yeah, eventually I want to go pro.
Nice. Well, we'll have to watch you because him and I are in it now. I didn't realize, watching the UFC on the big stage, that's fun. That's intense. Watching it in person, though, whole other deal.
Whole different thing, dude.
Like him and I are like watching these fights. We're like, oh shit, and then like really into it. So we were like, fuck. So now we're like hooked. We want to keep going to all these different events and shit. So
yeah, it's fun, man. Like you said, watching it on a UFC and stuff, like on TV and stuff like that, it's cool. Because it's their high level.
Right.
And then you hear about local shows, and you think in your head, like, it probably wouldn't be all that great. They're amateurs, and you know what I mean?
Oh, it's still fun to watch.
Bro, like, when you go and you see how these guys just get at it, it's really fun, dude. And then how the crowd just kind of supports the fighters, that's amazing, too. I love that.
There was one guy we watched. Do you remember that dude's name, Lee?
Was it the dude from Orem?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, he was making his professional debut.
Hold on, I saved this. Normally, I hate pulling my phone out during shows, but
he's pretty badass.
He fought for Fierce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it on this last card?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, where is he at? Andrew Mickelson.
Okay, yeah.
He went pro now, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was.
He was the 85 champ.
Yeah.
He just hung up the belt.
Yeah, so he I think this was his first pro.
Yeah, it was his debut.
And he submitted him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude. But he was like cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
And like the other dude, he's like hopping around, and it's like as soon as he got in the ring, I was like, okay, that motherfucker's gonna win.
Yeah.
You just knew it. And then they start going, and he got over his jitters, and then he just went to town and fucked him up.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, that's my last. No, not my last fight, because my last fight. Sorry again, Savio, but I ended up kicking him in the nuts.
Oh no shit.
And from what I know, one of them kind of was outside of his cup.
No.
And it kind of smashed it.
No.
And he had to go to the hospital, and
Damn.
it ended in a no contest. But the fight before that, like when I fought that dude, like the commentary is like, damn, Brian Miller looks just really calm. Maybe he shouldn't be. And then dude like hit and kicked me, and I went down, and then he did some ground and pound on me. He split me in 3 different places, and I ended up winning the fight with the head and arm choke. But I didn't land one punch, dude.
None?
I think I maybe threw one punch, dude.
He just submitted.
Yeah, but that was that. I heard the commentators like, they're like, oh, Brian Miller really looks calm in there. You're like, that's good. And then all of a sudden I got hit and down, and he's like, well, maybe he shouldn't have been so calm.
Right, and then you turn around and win anyway.
Yeah.
So what's your amateur record?
2-2 with 1 no contest.
So the 2 that you lost, what happened?
So the first one was a split decision, and then the second one was decision.
Yeah.
The first loss by split decision, I almost got him in the first round. I had a triangle locked in, everything, rolled him over, and I was sitting on top of him, and I had it all locked in, and I'm in my head, and I'm just like, okay, you can grab the back of his head and pull up and finish this fight, dude, and just win.
Right.
But the whole time, like through training, it's like I kind of want a slugfest, dude.
Yeah.
So I started punching him in the face, and then about the third, fourth one, he come out the back. And then all of a sudden for 3 rounds, dude, it's just kind of a stand-up battle, dude. And it was a good one. You can find it on YouTube. Fierce fight. It was when Fierce was out in Price.
Okay.
They started off in Price down there.
When is the next Fierce fighting? I haven't looked at their website yet.
Actually, I don't know. Do you know? Huh?
Is it?
27th.
Is it over at the Maverick again? Bonneville.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that the?
It's like school.
Yeah. Then that's the like kind of the contender one then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's like the contender one.
Okay.
Yeah, to where it's like they all fight, and then whoever does good, then they're gonna go to the Maverick Center.
Right.
Fierce.
How's your relationship with Zach?
Good.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, we don't talk a lot. We don't really conversate a lot.
Right.
But yeah, Zach's a good dude.
He
know?
just had his fight though
yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, I think he lost on this one.
I think I have to reach out to him. I haven't done it because I had not an excuse, but crazy weekend where I just went nonstop. I was down in Newport Beach with some friends and still recovering.
Yeah. Had fun though, right?
Yeah, it was a good time, but
awesome.
Like what I'm starting to realize as a grown man, and then in the position I'm in now, if I go too hard in the paint on the weekends and it starts to affect my work during the week, then it really fucking bugs me.
Yeah.
It's all by my control, but it really, really fucking bugs me.
Yeah.
So like I was telling Lee, I went when we first started recording out of the studio, it's the 2 guys that were on the very first show. I met, or one of them lives here. Him and I hopped a plane and met the other one down in Newport because that's where he lives, and just hung out and drank and partied, and it was a good time. Went and saw the Kings and Ducks play.
Okay.
Never been to a professional NHL game, so that was cool to see.
Yeah.
10 rows up, and we're just pounding fucking beer and whatever. And I get home Sunday, so I actually left Saturday morning, got to Newport, then partied all through the night, and then ended up getting like 5 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And then hopped a plane, came back to Utah about 4:30, got home at 5 and was out. And then every single day, and I even had a day I left early from work because I just could not keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
And it totally fucked my week. In fact, I had to go in before we started recording just to finish all my shit from Friday.
Yeah.
That's like how far behind I was. I'm good now, but it's like, damn, dude, it took me a whole week to recover off this. And now I'm like, probably not a good idea to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate when my schedule gets thrown off too. And that's being the owner of a company and stuff. It's
right.
I have to make the schedules. I have to make the hours. I'm the one that has to like basically make sure that the guys are going to be there and we're going to do the right work. And if maybe one of my guys isn't like there all the way for the day, you know, it'll irritate me, but I still have to kind of adjust to it. You know what I mean? I found out as well is that like when I put too much on my plate, I kind of get overwhelmed, and then I don't know what to do first.
Okay.
So these last few years, I've kind of cut back on the work, and I try to only work us like 6 hours a day,
right,
and 5 days a week. So I try not to work on the weekends so that we can train more on the weekends, and then also only 6 hours a day so that we're not too tired when we go train.
right.
But also, I feel like just that 6 hours doing tree work, because it's physical labor, man.
Dude,
It's
especially
hard
if
work.
you're running up and down trees.
Yeah, yeah. And then dragging brush too, man. Loading it into the trailers and doing
bet.
all that stuff. Dude, that's lifting the big heavy rounds.
Right.
Like, yeah, it takes a toll on the body.
Does your nephew work with you?
Yes, he does.
Nice.
Yep.
When you cut it down to 6 hours, how did that affect your income on your business, though?
I mean, it obviously kind of knocked it down a little bit, but I make enough, dude, to where I'm comfortable. I can adjust that to go train.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And do the thing I love to do, because really the ultimate goal in 5 years, because me and my wife talked about a 5-year plan, paying off all of our debt and stuff like that.
Right.
And I am going to grow the business more, so that in 5 years I can sell the tree service, and then I can take that money and I can open my own gym.
Okay.
Because we've been talking about possibly moving closer to the grandson. Him and our daughter live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we technically don't want to be in Oklahoma.
Texas ain't bad,
but
though.
we're looking at Texas.
Texas
We're looking
ain't
at
bad.
So there's Texas and Oklahoma border, and there's
Right.
a big river right there. Because I've
Red
been
River.
telling my wife I want to retire on the beach. You know what I mean?
The Red River.
Yeah, so I'm looking at towns around that area and martial arts gyms that are around there, and they really don't have a lot. So I'm trying to do some research on that, so that if we finally decide if that's what we want to do, then I know where we're gonna go and I know what's going on.
That's cool, though, that you have
Yeah.
a plan in place.
Trying, that's where I've grown up a lot.
Right.
Because there's never been a plan for life.
Well, I was just going to say, how cool is it that you're having that conversation now, but, 20 years ago,
Yeah,
you weren't even thinking that.
bro, not at all.
It was
dude.
just the net.
Party and drugs.
When can I get fucked up next?
Yep. But not only that is what girl can I meet next?
There you go.
Yeah. So I got 3 kids from 3 different women.
Okay.
I was kind of a promiscuous man through the years.
Trust me, I've had my fair share. I just lucky enough not to have any kids that I know about.
Yeah.
They could come knocking on the door. And
Oh, bro, I might have a half Mexican baby coming from Arizona. And so my wife even asked me one time, she's all, dude, all right, before we get any further, is there any surprises that's going to come later in the future? And I was
Right.
like, all right, in about 16 years,
we could
if
have.
you see a little half Mexican kid knock on the door talking about, is Brian here? He might be my kid.
Just accept them as your own.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. No, Lee and I always talk about, growing this, and, we've kind of stumbled into some cool things.
Yeah.
We're going to be filming a music video for a local artist coming up.
Okay.
And then he just locked down a commercial deal for
Awesome.
a new restaurant. And then he's got the short films that he's getting ready to start production on. And then we have the golf shit we haven't even got into that I don't even know if we're going to get into this year just because of how busy this has been.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the cool thing is, through this podcast, we're able to meet people like yourself and really expand into areas where we never even thought we were going to go. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming on.
No problem.
You know
I
what I
appreciate
mean?
you having me. Yeah.
And then if you have any other fighters that want to come on,
Yeah.
just have them contact
That's
me.
it's in a way that's kind of why I drug my nephew here, because he like he said his aspirations is to be a pro. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I've been watching videos and trying to do a little research on stuff like that. And I watched this one where the guy said, dude, as an amateur, you need to start promoting yourself immediately.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like him to start doing, is promoting himself immediately, so that when he does get to the pro stage, then his name's already out there. A lot of people already know him, you know what I mean? Maybe already have some sponsors and, you know, stuff like that. So myself, I know I'll just be coaching after a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll probably fight for a few years, hopefully go pro for a few years, but like in the long run, I'm going to end up just kind of being the coach.
Yeah.
And trying to guide everybody kind of where they need to be and what they need to do.
Well, when you decide to go pro, give us a call. We'll come watch your first pro fight. And then probably by then we'll have a lot of our side stuff going, like starting to go. Well, you know, we can do promo videos. We can put you on YouTube. We can really start to blow your name up too. So
yeah,
that carpet
and
definitely is always extended out to anyone.
He's looking to do his MMA amateur debut in the summer. So
Perfect.
He's done kickboxing and Muay Thai, and he won both those fights.
Just keep us posted. I mean, once we know where you're going to fight at, we'll come see you. Like me and Lee love that shit. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Lee, do you got any other questions?
Just like what fighters like were you inspired by?
Man,
I know you said like your movie ones like Bruce Lee
yeah.
and Jean-Claude, but
it would have to be Vanderlei Silva,
Okay.
George St. Pierre, Ken Shamrock, like a lot of the
Old school.
Rampage Jackson,
Yeah.
Pride Fighting. Dude, I loved Pride Fighting when they were beasts back then, dude.
Well, they started off at bare knuckle, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
it kind of grew into what it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about bare knuckle?
It's brutal. It's brutal. And that's my nephew asked me, would you ever do it? And I'm like, yeah, if they gave me the right money.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I remember Rogan saying that some of the fighters that used to be UFC fighters that went over, they actually have to hit like softer,
Yeah.
because if they hit with the same force, you know, even with how small the gloves are, like they can fuck their wrist up, they can break their hands, they can do all that shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it's crazy how you actually have to let off the gas a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, it's crazy.
But then I mean, you've been in street fights before.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
I've been in a lot.
You should look into that.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool for you to get into that arena and, you know, beat someone's ass bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I would love to see it though.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. When they came here to Utah, we went and watched
Did you?
the bare knuckles. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
What do you think about the slap deal that Dana White sponsors? That's a whole other fucking ball.
I mean, that's a whole nother animal for sure. Right. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's kind of cool to see somebody get slapped like that.
Bitch slapped.
So, yeah. And I mean, I just seen a little video of this dude that got slapped, and he just slumped over the island that's in between them, and then he like kind of stood it because the dude started counting, and he stood up and then fell backwards, and I'm like, damn, dude.
I watched one where two heavyweights were going at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, they look like normal human beings. The next thing you know, their fucking face is out to here.
Yeah, dude.
You're like, what the fuck?
It's brutal to just stand there and let somebody slap the shit out of you, dude. Like, bro.
I know. Like,
it's crazy.
You always think like, man, someone bitch slapped me, I'm gonna fuck them up, you know?
That's a good way to get CT real quick.
Yeah.
CT real quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
the funny thing with the, you know, the slap deal is that what was it? It was Cat Williams when he's like what was he on one of the Fridays?
Okay.
And the girl's talking back, he's like, give me that fucking baby powder.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. Oh man, that's funny. Anything else you want to add?
No. Just my company name, Up High Tree Care. Sorry, I'm gonna.
Nope, do it.
And I just wanted to throw this up real quick.
Rep
if you
it.
guys need any tree work done, you can give me a call. I do free estimates. I'm licensed and insured, and I've been doing it for like 18 years now. So
Lee does a different kind of tree. I don't think your services would.
Yeah, you can knock them down. We're smoking the trees.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You know, hope you get better. I know you're kind of going through that sickness.
Yeah.
That onion shit.
Yeah,
threw me
dude,
off.
that was a trip. Hey, like, so I install pool tables for a Brunswick dealer in Midville as well. They're called Valley Spas and Billiards. The manager out there, he told me about it.
Tell Lee that
yesterday.
real quick.
So basically, he told me take a half onion. So there's a lady from Austria.
Mm-hmm.
There's been videos out lately of her telling you about natural remedies.
Yeah.
So he told me that from her.
Okay.
And he sent me a video. It's like an hour-long video of her talking about it. But he said, chop up the onion, half an onion, put it in a bowl, and set it next to your bed when you go to sleep at night.
No water, no nothing.
No water, no nothing. And also from what I think I kind of, so I put it in a plastic bowl. So what she says onions do is it draws stuff out. So that's why you start crying when you are cutting up onions and you start kind of tearing up and stuff
Right.
like that. So she says it draws the cough and the mucus and that sickness kind of out of you. And I'm telling you, yesterday I had the chills. I wasn't feeling good, and I was like, bro, I don't want to come and cough on your microphone and be
Right.
rubbing my nose full of snot, you know. And he told me about that, and I chopped up the onion and set it next to me at night when I went to sleep. I woke up and next day, and dude, I felt way better.
Really?
Like everything was out.
That's nuts.
I could breathe. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night trying to hack stuff up. So it was like I feel it really, really helped.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it again tonight just to kind of
Get over it.
help get it
Right.
the rest of it out of there, because I'm trying to get back to training this week.
I think I got I do. I got some shit over there to make you cry.
Yeah.
I got those Joe Rogan smelling salts.
Oh.
You want to give those a whiff?
No, I'm good.
When I first got those, like they come in a sealed bag, and I opened that bag up and pulled the bottle out, and huffed on the bag, and I'm like, holy shit! Popped that bottle open, and I'm not joking. I one whiff, and I felt like my whole fucking face was melting. Like I couldn't breathe. Like I'm crying. I'm like, what the fuck? And Lee's looking at me like, what the hell? And then he took it. Same fucking thing.
That's great. What is it for? Is it for sickness or?
No. It's just I go on these tangents where I'm like, I'm gonna try that,
Yeah.
or I want to do something.
Yeah.
Kind of how this podcast came about. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm gonna do it. So I keep listening to Rogan, and he's got these salts, and I'm just like, I want to get me some of those.
Yeah.
They can't be that bad. No, they're bad.
They're bad.
They fuck you up for sure.
That's crazy.
If you want to try them, you can.
I definitely want to try them.
Perfect.
All right. All right. yeah.
Perfect. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
Lee, you good?
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see, where you go with your Muay Thai and everything, and hopefully one day I could check you out at Fight City.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just
You know.
keep in touch with us.
Yeah.
And then also if Fight City wants to do any type of videography,
Okay.
let us know.
Okay.
That's kind of what we're getting into right now. So
Yeah. I'll talk to Eric and see what he's got to say.
Okay.
And,
perfect.
he likes to do kind of some YouTube stuff as well. So,
Okay.
Maybe he can,
Maybe we'll collaborate.
yeah, maybe you guys can collaborate a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
So at Fight City, like, quick question: do they have stuff where you can just do all the workouts
Yes, sir.
that fighters do?
Yes, sir.
We're not necessarily fighting, just
So we got a boxing at 5:15 that does kind of like I always forget. It's like kind of like a round. A circuit. There we go. I don't know why I keep forgetting how to say that.
Coming
dude.
off of sickness.
Dude, I'm
You're
telling
good.
you.
You're good.
But it's a circuit. Like they set up stations to where you can do jabs at the bag, do jump rope, go in the ring and hit mitts with Tim, our boxing coach. So that's a good thing because we get a lot of people there that just want fitness. They
right.
just want to stay healthy, and they do want to know how to protect themselves, but they don't have aspirations to compete.
Right,
So,
right.
and fight or spar. You know what I mean? So yeah, we have boxing, and then we have a couple Muay Thai classes that you can come in and do pads with us and stuff like that. And then obviously jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is always good to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
I
check
love
that out.
jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu really kind of it helps you with a lot of different stuff in life. Like, all right, I'm gonna have to add one more thing.
No, you're good. Keep going. You're good.
So I feel like jiu-jitsu saved my life in a literal way. Like me and my wife were down in Moab doing a anniversary, and we're going on that river tour, and they serve you a meal beforehand, and we're in a room full of like people. I think there was like 50 or more people. And we're eating, and dude, like I had this piece of chicken, you get stuck. I thought I chewed it up enough, but I sure the hell didn't.
And you got,
dude, it was in there, and honestly, I feel like jiu-jitsu saved my life because I stayed calm. You know what I mean? Like, I went through each step. I was like, oh shit, that's stuck. Try to drink some soda. So I tried to drink some soda and kind of spit it out on the table, and I'm like, ooh, that's really stuck. And then I looked at my wife, and I did the choke sign. And she knew what I was talking about because earlier that day, we seen a young girl almost choke on her food, and we had a conversation about that. And then here I am about 4 or 5 hours later getting a piece of chicken stuck in my throat. So I tell her, dude, I'm dying here. Come help me. She runs around and was doing the Heimlich, but she was like a little too high. And I pushed her hands down, but she kind of was already pulling and kind of like already like used her strength in a way.
right.
And I'm looking at the whole crowd, like everybody's standing there watching me, and I'm just like looking at everybody, and I'm like, do you guys not see my wife struggling? Like, I'm going to die here if nobody steps in. Right. And I'm like, help me. Yeah, I get this little help me out. You know what I mean? And finally the dude standing next to me jumps in about 4 or 5 times, dude. He hits it, and the chicken comes out. And my ass, dude, I had a napkin in my hand, and I grabbed a piece of chicken and wiped off the ground and clean up after myself. And the lady's like, we can do that. And I was taught to clean up after myself. You know what I mean? I try to crack jokes in situations like that to kind of lighten the mood and stuff like that. So that's
how I am too.
That's what I ended up doing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Keeping calm, like.
Yeah. And I credit that to jiu-jitsu, because in jiu-jitsu, when you're in a bad position, you got...
Well, the worst thing you can do is freak out.
Freak out. So when you got a 6'1", 200 and something pound man on top of you and you're in a bad position, the worst thing is to start freaking out. You have to stay calm and think of what's next. What do you do next? Dig an underhook. Shrimp out.
Right.
Follow the arm out. Take the back. You know what I mean? So that's what I did when the piece of chicken stuck. Oh, you need to drink something. Oh, it didn't go down. You need to look at your wife wide-eyed and do the choke sign. You know what I mean?
Just imagine your wife looking at you and be like, I'm going to show you a jiu-jitsu
Oh,
move.
bro, she freaked.
Call this the Heimlich.
Yeah. She freaked out, dude. She was tripping.
I bet.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean, a normal person would freak out in that deal.
Yeah, she.
So that's cool, though, that it taught you to not freak out.
Yeah.
I feel like people waste more energy freaking out, especially if it's in their head, you know. Yeah. All of a sudden, like, you know, you lose like all train of thought, the whole nine, and then, you know, next thing you know, you're like dead. Yeah,
exactly. And it's the freak out. And I feel like martial arts is a good way to teach yourself not to freak out, to stay calm. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I feel like jiu-jitsu really acclimates into life.
That's cool, though. Yeah. That's a hell of a story to end this on.
Bro, I'm telling you, it was crazy.
God bless your wife.
Yes, God bless her. And Carl. I'll thank you again, Carl. So, yeah, we got on the post, and they were talking about who's got special events, anniversary, birthdays, this and that. And I let everybody go. And right at the end, when nobody said anything, she's like, oh, one more. And nobody said nothing. I stood up and, all right. We got to thank Carl over here because he just saved my life, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be on this tour. So everybody clapped for Carl, and that I ended up taking a picture with him and everything.
Nice.
Dude. Yeah.
Shout out to Carl.
Shout out to Carl.
Fuck, man. That's a killer story, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, so am I. Thank you.
well, we'll be in touch. Let us know what's going on in your guys' lives. Like anyone that comes on, you know, it's a family thing.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, we're connected, and, you know, we're your biggest fans no matter what.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on. Hopefully we can get Julian on next, but, you know,
yeah,
we'll see about that.
We might record him doing these salts. He might be a YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.